nothing is expensive, right? Nothing is expensive. And I was listening to a Jim Rohn audio series a long time ago, and he said to his mentor, Mr. Earl Shoaff, he said, Mr. Shoaff, he said, I can't buy that because it's too expensive. He said his mentor said to him, it's not too expensive, Mr. Rohn, you can't afford it. And the difference is, if it's too expensive, the problem is it. And you can't fix it. But if you can't afford it, the problem is you, and you can fix you. You're the only person who can fix you. And obviously, when I talk about fixing you, I'm talking about your habits, right? I'm not talking about, you get it. So nothing's expensive. Everything just costs what it costs. In fact, there are things you buy right now that there was a time in your life when you felt like they were expensive. They were too expensive. So when I had a poverty mindset, I used to like my whole life was figuring out, how can I get it for less? 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 And I remember my brother Rob, he went off to the Marine Corps. And we grew up really, really poor. Like there was 9 of us in our house, unless my parents brought some of our cousins to live with us for the summer, and then there might have been 13 or 14 of us, right? And we never lived in mansions or anything. And my parents worked hard, but you know, it was a struggle to feed 7 sons, and then sometimes their cousins. And so I learned how to take something that was not enough and make it do. My dad called that Mr. Make Do. I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Make Do. You just find what you need and you make it do, right? You find what you can find and make it do. And so my whole mentality growing up was, okay, we would buy cheap cars and then we'd spend hours and hours working on them, changing the transmission, changing the engine, fixing it. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've lived that life, right? And it wasn't a bad experience. It was just my experience. A lot of times we think of things in the past that were difficult and painful. We think, and it wasn't even painful, but we think of things that are difficult and painful as being bad. They weren't bad. They were part of your preparation for your assignment. Anyway, so I would buy raggedy cars. In fact, my very first business I didn't even realize it was a business, was when I came home for the summer from after my first year in college, and I bought a car for $50 from the Paxton Herald in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I drove it around all summer. Then I sold it for $300 before I went back to college, right? And I made $250 profit on that car. Well, the business